Make sure the mic's on this time because I started the pregame show with it off. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Jack Ramsay's postgame show. Danny Marang, Brandon Sprague joins me again, ladies and gentlemen. Blazers lose. It is a throttle.
This was close.
It was close for the first 9 minutes. It was 26, and I was like, hey, this
Good
is
first quarter.
This is the optimal thing to have happen. You get your starters out there. They look pretty good. You handle business, and the deep bench gets in, and you go, and that tank just comes flying over that hill, and you're like, oh, there it is.
I was running down every conceivable notion of how this group would beat this Denver team, and I'm like, Macklemore goes for 39. We start there. Nurkic has a revenge game against his long nemesis, Jokic. Dennis Smith Jr. slangs that wood, and Nas finally hits 58% from three. That's how that happened. In the first quarter started, I'm like, oh. And then the second quarter, it was over.
It was over. Some fun things of note tonight. Nas got up 12 shots.
Yes.
10 threes. 10 of his 12 shots were threes.
Yeah. Didn't shoot it particularly well, but I like just be aggressive. Be aggressive.
Get him up. That's entirely it. Larry says MASH unit got blown out. Get to the Jake Fisher comments. Just so you guys know, Jake will be on next week.
Oh, right.
I scheduled him for the back end. Me and him have been talking pretty much all night.
Jake's a good dude.
Jake is a good dude, and when we're talking to a lot of the same people, so it's very, very good to have somebody else come on who has even significantly more connections than I do to draw the lines. But I will say this before we get back to the game: Portland has been active, so that's a good sign. Nurk tonight went out, almost had a triple double. Outside of shooting threes, he was 4 of 6, over 3. Stan Van Gundy carried the mantle for Kevin Calabro tonight, basically going, what the hell are you doing, dude?
Yes, he did. I quite enjoyed the broadcast tonight with Brian Anderson and SVG.
It was fun. Lester's just positive. We lost. It's the
community's coming together, Marang.
Let me.
Oh, I'm too loud here.
I'll turn you down.
Sorry about that.
It happens when we go back and forth. What's interesting is they're saying that I'm not very loud, which is very weird.
You sound it's weird because they comment on this, and you sound normal to me.
Yeah, that's the thing that's what sucks about Zoom.
Yeah,
is trying to get everything squared away, especially when we're going live. It's one thing to put this into a mix and have it all come together. But yeah, I'll turn Brandon down, guys, and then I'll turn mine up, and hopefully we can find something there. It shouldn't. The stupid thing is it should never change because everything's been set.
Yeah.
But here we go, nonetheless. Overall tonight, the Blazers did what they're supposed to do. They played their young guys. We got Greg Brown a whole 10 minutes.
Yep.
Interesting enough, it said he was 0 for 1 from 3.
When did he shoot the 3?
He hit the 3 the first shot he took. Did he have his toe on the line?
Oh, no. They changed. Yeah, I think they changed it.
Oh, okay. Now
I'm okay. Yeah, I confused that with a different shot.
Yeah, because he came in and immediately pulled, and I was like, Greg! All right.
Well, Greg was like, I've been buried at the end of that thing too long, man. I'm getting a shot up.
Oh, yeah, no. And honestly, it's what I want to see from these guys. I want to see Nas when he's out there getting shots up. Trendon, 4 of 7. Unfortunately, got caught under Jokic a few times. That's just
I don't know what you're supposed to do in that situation. Can I just quickly throw out? I'm glad Greg got some minutes. LOB getting 17 more minutes than Greg Brown to me is.
I think that's more because of how the rotation is right now, or not necessarily the rotation, the roster. They're short many guards.
They are.
That you kind of have to. It's they don't really have anybody else, so...
I know, but we still need Greg for 15 minutes.
Yeah, I expect that as long as Nurk can cover on the team, they're going to defer to them, and they're going to play 30-ish minutes a night until they're dealt.
So
do your thing.
Not obviously the performance, there was some things that we enjoyed, and the end result was not something I'd say I enjoy, but it was something that was there's another ping pong ball. Mm-hmm. I know we got Jake Fisher coming up, and I know we had the article today. He is one of my favorites. I think he's a little underrated in terms of the national scene.
He's been blowing up over the last 18 months.
I know. I've been seeing it, but I still feel like he kind of flies under the radar for
Yes.
some people. We had Windhorse on. I taped an interview with Windhorse on the radio, and I'm going to air it tomorrow on the show.
Get into it.
I just wanted to throw out real quick on what you touched on, Cov and Nurk. He didn't say who or what or how, but he basically told us today that the Blazers are all in on Miles Turner.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Sabonis. They're going for the fit.
Yeah.
I said before, I want them to go best player. They're going to go for fit, and I'm still going to be on board. Miles Turner is a hell of a basketball player, and I just wanted to pass that along. That Windhorse basically told us Portland is going in on Miles Turner.
I guess we can kind of bag the game for talk for tonight and kind of get into the news real quick. We'll get back to the Fisher stuff here in just a second. Real quick, the actual news: Damian Lillard did have surgery. It was successful. They put a loose timeline on it, but basically he's done for the season, folks. The whole point of this surgery is that Dame can rest between now and April 15th. Dame's not getting on the floor and playing minutes. That's the goal here. It's a good bit of news. It's not a good nose. I mean, what the hell does that even mean? This game, this is kind of what I'd say it kind of encapsulates what the rest of the season probably will look like. It'll look a little cleaner because you're not gonna be playing the deep bench 25 minutes a night, but you're gonna.
Sounds like a guard's gonna join him on this trip.
That's where I was just gonna go now. Congratulations to CJ McCollum again. Becomes a father. Congratulations to CJ and Elise. They had the baby today, from what we've been told. No gender, no name, no time of birth, any of that stuff. That's all their personal stuff. But congratulations to CJ and Elise. I hope CJ doesn't join him on the trip.
Well, I mean, if he doesn't, I don't blame him. You want to be there for the newborn. If he does, God bless me. He'll play basketball in a long time. But congrats. He just joined the coolest club I've ever been a part of.
I'll get there eventually,
You will.
But rad. I know, and I said this in the pregame show, I am a guy who has put CJ McCollum in a trade machine more than anybody on this planet. I've been doing it since 2015. And in all seriousness, congrats CJ, congrats Elise.
Yeah.
I hope you guys are doing great. I hope the baby's healthy. I hope mom and dad are both healthy and that everything's good to go. With that being said, there was some discussion about him joining the team on the road trip.
Now,
but what does joining the team mean?
Who was it with the reporting? Was it Coldall or was it Haynes?
Let me double check it. I think Casey had it in pregame. Let me scroll back here. Yes, so Casey, word for word, Chauncey Billups dropped the news. CJ McCollum, to be more specific, his wife Elise had the baby and is expected to join the team on the road in their next few games.
So are you kind of suggesting or getting at you think he shows up and doesn't play?
Maybe.
I see. I read it the other way. I read it as if he hasn't played in I don't even know how many weeks at this point.
Maybe he's going to show a little bit. Let him know he's healthy.
I think he wants to get out there, right? Like we've talked about this a little bit of, he's out there practicing. So if you feel like you're good enough to do that, you can go out there and play, go get some buckets, make some people interested. Could end up being a good thing. And I still don't know if the team with this roster with CJ is good enough to change whether they win or lose the games. So it could be a win-win.
It's a couple wins, I think.
Maybe 2-4 on the trip.
But perspective-wise, here's the current standings. The Blazers are 16-25. They are exactly 2 games out in front of the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are 14th in the NBA, and that would give the Blazers one of the 4 or 5 worst records in the NBA. So the idea of them, had they not had a miraculous game against the Nets, had they not had Ant's insanity against the Hawks, they're one of the 3 or 4 worst teams in the NBA record-wise. So this is not one of those situations where it's going to just kind of fix itself. Getting back on track as far as where do we go from here? You alluded to it already with Wendy, and you guys are going to play that tomorrow. I have heard the same thing. Windhorse obviously has significantly more sources than I do. But Mine are very good. They have led me down many good paths in the past. And from what I have been told, Portland is chasing Miles Turner, and that Jeremy Grant is very much on their radar. Dame has asked to play with Jeremy Grant in the past, and the asking price for both Miles Turner and Jeremy Grant is the Aaron Gordon price, which is a young player and 2 first-round picks.
So would that be it? Would parents of this thing, please do not take this personal. This is all hearsay. Are we talking like a Nas and 2 first-round picks?
I think Nas and Ant are both off limits, and here's where it goes. Is Marvin Bagley and a first-round pick something to work with?
If Detroit does that, God bless them.
That's not enough. I'm just saying. Let's start there. Okay. What about P.J. Washington and a first-round pick? That sounds like another deal that could happen.
Okay.
What about, I don't know, Josh Hart, Jackson Hayes, some filler, and 2 first-round picks from New Orleans? It's almost like the Blazers have the pieces to maybe go out there and get a bunch of things that they could flip for those guys.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. So this is why I keep saying that you can't look at the straight deals, because what Portland has on offer with the teams they're dealing with, it's not a straight line. And that's,
I guess the money wouldn't add up either with Nas and 2 firsts.
But ultimately, the goal ends up being Miles Turner is the backbone of your defense. You get a big-bodied wing in a Jeremy Grant. You get a little weird and you bring in Gordon Hayward as part of a risk. You run into next season with Dame. Is Ant your starter? Do you go get like a MLE guy or a mini MLE guy at the 2 spot, defensive stopper type, then Hayward, Grant, and Turner with Ant and Nas and Nance coming off your bench?
Could do worse.
Is that a title team? No. Does it make more sense? Hell yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think title team, it's fair to say that, but like, is it a team that scares other teams? Yes.
All of a sudden you have a crap ton of shot making. You have just a truckload of size. Like all of a sudden you go from being a very small, unathletic team to being a very big, very athletic team. You go from being the least athletic team in the league to being middle of the pack at bare minimum.
Yeah.
That's no small feat.
It would, and I don't mean this to be, have a little blasphemy here, but it would really remind me of the team in 14 and 13. Mm-hmm. Like where they have a solid group of dudes who play hard, they play together. Like that kind of team is what that would remind me of. And you would hope, because obviously the holes of those teams were their bench, you would hope that they'd be able to fill that void. And then you've got something. Because there's a lot of Blazer fans that really like that Rolo, West, LA, Dame, Nick team. And for good reason. They played hard and they were good.
It was a very good team. And it made a ton of sense.
Yes. And it's a team that I think many of us have said, had they had a bench, maybe they make a little more noise than what they did. Like if you can figure that out, that kind of grouping, that would remind me of that. And
Keeley points out a good point. I've said all this trade talk and everything else. The Blazers are still tanking, and they got a top 5 pick.
Right.
To add to that mix.
Yep.
And it's like, now you're cooking with gas. Now you've got things you can work with. You don't have a bunch of negative deals. You don't have guys kind of pushing past their prime or parts that aren't really that sought after or things you have to like squint at really hard. It's just, it makes more sense. And like as far as that 13-14 or the 14-15 roster, this is the thing that's so big. We've seen what works in Portland with Damian Lillard, which is put size, athleticism, defense, and shooting around him, and ta-da! And then they decided, we're going to go a different direction.
What if we clone him and then we play him with that clone? But it's not quite him. It's a lesser version.
It's very, very frustrating. But it's also very interesting to see what's going to happen in the next couple weeks. Leslie says Dame's comments in Holdall's article make me think he really wants Ant to stay in Portland. If you guys haven't read Casey's article that came out today talking about Dame or talking to or with Dame about his surgery, go read it. Mm-hmm. Casey spent a lot of time getting this together and spending time with Dame and getting Dame to open up on a level that you will not get him to talk about this stuff regularly. Like for literally 9 years, he has just sat there and just head down, hoop, head down, hoop. You saw mortality for Damian Lillard for the first time in his career. Yep. And no more, I'm just going to do it. For the good of the team, I need to be selfish, which is what Brandon and I have asked for since August. Doug, go get it. Go get handled, get taken care of, take a gap year, just figure stuff out.
It sucks. I mean, ultimately it sucks, but if you look at it, and I think this is part of what Dame did. I mean, he was playing his third season in 2 years. He played in the Olympics on top of that, got married. Now he's had kids. There's not a lot of break there. I know, you don't get a break with the Twins? He's rich. What do you mean? Okay, yeah, I get it. But like, life is still life, right? There are still things he's got to take care of. He's got obligations and responsibilities. It sucks to sit out. It sucks to have a gap year at this point in your career. But as he said in that piece, and Holdall did a hell of a job, so kudos to him, knowing that you can get right and knowing that you can take a step back and see a new vision for the team, I think that's going to be refreshing for him. I think he's going to go into this. He has a surgery done. He'll rehab it. He won't play again this year. And when he starts training in the summertime, I really believe come fall, Danny, if they can make the right moves, we are going to see a completely rejuvenated, refreshed Lillard.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to remind a lot of people because I just don't want to trade him. And I'm open to a lot of opinions. I don't have to agree with them. The one sports opinion that kind of frustrates me is seeing like how easy people are just willing to trade Damian Lillard.
Yeah, no,
as if this guy has not given you the world since you drafted him and carried this gutter of a franchise for 7 years. You owe it to him to give everything you can to put other pieces around and give him a legit shot. If it don't work, wipe your hands. But I just think it was great to read that piece.
You have to make something happen.
You have to.
You have to give it a try. A couple things here. Musa says, wouldn't getting Grant, Hayward, Turner keep Portland in the tax? Isn't Portland trying to get under? Actually, the way that I have run it through machinations, it would give them $6 million in space.
I think if their team was good enough, I say this.
They wouldn't do it this year. They would not do it this year.
No. But I do think if they were in a position where the team was good enough, they would.
That would be
I know it's a hot take. I know.
That is, with this ownership group currently, I have a very hard time swallowing it. Like they would have to be very
if you're good. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you're very good, how much do you make?
In a normal year, you make money. In a COVID year,
right. But we're talking about next year, right? Let's be positive and optimistic.
But no, I am too. But here's also the thing is, they trigger it this year, and it gets exponentially worse next year. Yes. That's the kicker. That is why they have to get under. That is why. It's going to be very, very, very interesting. Andy asks, do you guys think DSG and Macklemore have any trade value as part of a bigger deal, a second each? Not necessarily in that regard.
Can you read that one more time, Danny? Sorry.
Yeah. Do you guys think DSJ and Macklemore have any trade value as part of a bigger deal, perhaps a second each? No. But I do think they can be sweeteners in deals. Like I look at Macklemore in particular. Playoff team wants Ben Macklemore.
I'm surprised the Lakers haven't tried to get Ben Macklemore.
Somebody's going to call him Ben Macklemore and try and get something.
Yeah.
They could be used as part of like a second round pick deal and just to kind of put a little something in Portland's pocket because their war chest is awful empty. But they could also be part of a deal. You want to kind of keep those guys because maybe you need to swing $2 or $3 million here or there to make a deal work. So basically you get through the trade deadline and then right up to the end, then you make moves. I have a hard time seeing either of those guys as buyout candidates because Portland's got to kind of make sure they're careful with the tax again. So as far as that concerned, I wouldn't really be too worried about it. I want to get back to this, though. Malls said, I never thought I would embrace the tank, but after watching the first part of the season and how sad basketball could look, I've officially leaned in. Makes it way more fun to watch now. Losing is not fun, Brandon. But if you tune your brain to saying, losing doesn't matter right now. Winning doesn't matter right now. This game tonight sucked. They got their asses kicked. You know what I didn't care about?
That they were getting their ass kicked?
I didn't care they were getting their ass kicked.
I
I could walk into the kitchen real quick, grab my Thai food, take my sweet-ass time, get on down on the couch and go, hey, Nas is taking threes. Good. He's not hitting them, but that's okay. We'll work through some things. You know? It's
my swing coach for golf, I've only had a couple lessons. He said a great line to me. He goes, you swing like you're tense. And I said, well, I am. And he goes, why? And I was like, well, I had a good shot. I want to have a good score. And he goes, golf is so much more enjoyable without expectation. And I go, you're probably right. He goes, play the next round without it. And I did. Guess what? At the time of my life, and I had a good score. I just didn't care. And I'm at that point as a Blazer fan. It's like, I'm looking for the positives. I'm looking for the young players to get shots up, get minutes. I'm enjoying seeing it, even if they're not having their best night. And I'm watching the score going, man, another ping pong ball. That's cool.
You know what was great tonight? The over cleared by 38 points.
I know I missed the pregame, and I apologize for that. There's some stuff behind the scenes for me going on right now, but chef's kiss, because we would have both been all in on that over. I couldn't believe it was that low.
I saw 210, and I giggled. I was like, Vegas, you know that they're going to give up like 80 first half points, right? Like, you're giving me a head start. How many points did they give up in the first half? What did it end up being? 72.
72.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. And they slowed down. And then that third quarter happened. What was the final points scored in the third quarter? 25-29, which is hilarious because Portland didn't score for like 6 minutes. It was like, what the hell is going on? Like, what's wild is, Brandon, 140 isn't even the most the Blazers have given up this year.
I was going to say, silver lining, not the most points they gave up this year. So joke's on you, Denver.
Shout out the Celtics.
Happy birthday. My birthday. Shout out my birthday.
That's right. It was. Oh, my God. It
was, yeah.
Another bit of news. The Portland Trailblazers have hired a new assistant GM.
Which means they hired a new GM.
Weird. Shout out Mike Richmond for his tweet. He did the Go Tagless Jordan brand Haynes tweet. Or the Haynes video.
The video,
in the movie theater. Go Tagless. So it's like a 30-second commercial to get the tagline of Go Tagless.
Right.
So Richmond was really reaching deep into the well. But nonetheless, spot on.
Yeah.
Joe has hired and fired multiple people now. Interim guys don't get to do that.
No, and I'm kind of wondering, I saw this news, and I think like everybody else that sent a tweet out, I said, oh, so Joe Cronin's the general manager. why would he be hiring that person if he's not the general manager? And then it came clear with Woj, they are aiming to find the new president of basketball operations while operating with Joe Cronin as GM.
Which, okay.
All righty. All right.
So a couple different things to clarify. Somebody else asked us about Norm. Norm was supposed to be cleared to trade tomorrow. No, in 2 days. On the 15th. But I forgot he was a bird rights signee. So he is cleared to be traded February 2nd.
Oh, okay.
So that's another one that's on there.
I would expect him to be traded.
You what?
I would expect him to be traded.
Jake Fisher alluded to it loosely. Well, not loosely. He called it out. The idea that Norm had a lot of suitors in the offseason. Damn near a dozen.
Good contract if you need a Norm Powell on your team.
Listen, $15.5 million for 18 3-3 on 45, 40, 82 shooting.
Yep, you can do worse.
It's a good deal. Let's just call that what it is. It's a good deal. But he had to be convinced to come back to Portland. I wouldn't be surprised if Norm was like, I could go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
New Orleans was interested. Dallas was interested. New York was interested. Cleveland might be interested. Like there's a lot of different things out there.
Is there anything from Cleveland or Dallas you'd be interested in return?
Not necessarily, but I know that there's a discussion about Tim Hardaway Jr. in a sign-in trade in the offseason, which
I like Timmy.
Eye of the beholder.
THJ. I like THJ, but I'm not like, oh.
it's eye of the beholder.
Yes.
Like a little bit more money, also a little bit bigger, a little more shot creation. It's a weird place to be.
He's kind of like a taller version of Norm to me. Like,
yeah, there's some strong similarities for sure.
Yeah, like when he has an off night, he has an off night. You're like, oh, that really hurts. But when he gets it going, man, he gets hot.
Yeah, and just kind of a general idea, Eric says maybe picks to make other things happen. Yeah, I mean, that could certainly be a way. That's like the whole idea of where the franchise is right now is that essentially Dame, Ant, and Nas are off limits. Ant and Nas in extreme situations where a Godfather offer comes in, particularly as it pertains to Ant. That's my understanding, at least right now. You've got a lot of stuff to work with. And if they are quite literally cleared to clear the deck, there's 18 million different ways this could go. And we're in a world right now, Brandon, where everybody that I have talked to has gone from, I don't know how busy the deadline is going to be, to, holy shit, this is going to be an active deadline. Because Indiana's going to make some moves. Detroit's going to make some moves. Philadelphia's probably going to try and make some moves. Boston is probably going to try to find some guard help. They want to get off of Schroeder already.
Atlanta's been busy.
Atlanta.
Already.
So real quick, the Cam Reddish thing. I've been able to ask around the league.
Pissed me off.
They've been hard shopping him for a year. There's something.
I get it. There is something, but
there's something stinking.
He's wing like he.
Hey, listen, they sent him to New York, man. Everything will go fine.
Well, he gets played with Evan Fournier. I can't wait. I just, for players like Cam Reddish, this is kind of how I've changed my stance on guys like him. Players like him, once upon a time, I'd have the opinion, and the opinion would largely never change. J.R. Smith has changed my worldview on players and the way that you kind of judge or view them. Mm-hmm. Not a great start for Cam Reddish in Atlanta. It's also been very stacked roster-wise. It's probably difficult to get your looks.
Also, injuries.
Injuries have not helped. Like, I think there's a lot of variables that kind of play a factor here, not to completely exonerate him, right? But I also am not ready to say, well, Cam Reddish can never figure it out. Like, J.R. Smith, when he was a Hornet, prior to before
Malik
he joined
Monk.
Cleveland. But these are guys like J.R. Smith was literally said on a podcast, like, you can't win a title with J.R. Smith. And then he won a title in Cleveland. Like, if you get these guys in the right environment, they can be good. And so I was just disappointed that maybe there was more chatter that Portland was trying to get Cam Reddish just on the.
They just didn't have the capital, the draft capital. And I think they're holding on to it very, very tight. So, but again, another team that's going to be very active is Atlanta. I think there's. Obviously, there's noise out of Orlando. They want a first for Mo Bamba, but it sounds like 2 seconds is probably going to end up being the price. And it's like those are the kind of things where if you're Portland, you're just kind of sitting around going, what's it going to look like? What's it going to be? Where you can find good value on contracts. You can find a way to float money into the next year. Like if you give up Nurk and Covington, you get picks and maybe a young guy back that maybe doesn't help you, even if you move him on. But if you're also able to take some of those that other capital that you get in return and flip it for like a guy like Mo Bamba, or he ends up being your backup big. He's on a rookie extension right now. Like he's going to be an RFA. If you trade for him, you have the right to go over the cap to sign him. And that allows you to have more financial machinations to get more done within your roster instead of handing out like 6 vet minimum deals.
Okay, so can you answer a question for myself and
yes.
and our fun community here? Are you secretly rooting to get Portland to formulate a team that like when you sit down and see them on TV, you just cry because you're happy?
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's kind of your chest. You're sitting here behind the scenes and Mo Bamba getting a lob from Ant. I mean, you're just gonna be gonna be porn for you. Yes, you're gonna just die.
Yeah, I want to see what we haven't seen in Portland in 10 years, which is length, athleticism, size, and defense around Damian Lillard. Like, just give me the one thing that we got 1 year of, and it was amazing. They were a ruptured Achilles away from a Western Conference Finals run where you go, shit, that's a good team. You don't want to play that team.
That would have been fun, man. That team would have pushed them.
It's just, it has been so long. It has been so much patchwork garbage that, listen, and I'm fully, listen, if they get my fever dream-esque roster around Dame, and it's just blah, I will choke on it. I will gladly say I was wrong. I blew it. Whatever. But by God.
You're going to admit you're wrong? How dare you?
Yeah, I know. It's like, apparently I never do that. God. Just so frustrating. I haven't done this yet. Welcome. Appreciate you. We kind of hopped right into it because everybody poured in here so fast. Thank you for helping us. Help us grow. It's been tremendous. Like I mentioned the other day, we crossed over 250,000 views on the YouTube side. We crushed our podcast downloads at the end of the year. The live watch parties have been awesome.
Yeah.
I've got some more cool stuff coming. Like I said, I've got some M&M prints. I've got some swag to give away. I'm trying to figure out what to do about tickets. I don't know how interested everybody would be in going to a game right about now. So maybe we'll find something else to do. But I want to help, again, continue to grow the community. And you guys are huge for that. You're everything, to be honest.
You are the community. I mean,
you are
the community is us and
so,
you guys.
Thank
great.
you guys. This is beyond rad. Share us with your friends. Share us with your family. Help us grow. And just help us just kind of bring it all together. It's kind of weird. I didn't expect to feel the way that I felt about this season. Brandon knows this behind the scene. I was getting very frustrated covering a very shitty team that didn't care in the beginning of December, especially when I decided to do a pre- and post-game show and commit so much time. But the community has made this so much more fun. It is so much cooler to get in here and be like, that sucked, didn't it? And kind of share that with you guys. And so I just want to say thank you, because it's been very, very, very rad to, in times where I was like, I don't want to do this, and come in here and I guess get a big boost from you guys. So thank you. We appreciate you.
Yeah, I mean, amen. We absolutely do. I just, what you're saying is hilarious. Like I'm already thinking back how I miss you shitting on them after winning by 30 points. Like it's crazy that after that, like we got to this point.
Yeah.
You were calling sirens early. I don't know if you would have said this bad. Like this is no. To be bottom 4 or 5 in the league is an entirely different conversation. So like truthfully, it's funny because Danny and I, we text a lot and we chat. We didn't share this with each other. Like it sounds like we were feeling the exact same way as we begrudgingly would just get to our desk. And I think we were thinking the same thing. Like this fucking sucks to talk about right now. And then like
for like 9 games in a row, you're just like, and had I not gone to Hawaii and gotten sick, there probably would have been like a switch flip where I'm like, I don't know, dog. I think I need to take a break. Like, you know what I mean?
There might have been a podcast where we just literally laid our heads down like, we're done. We don't even know what to say to you guys anymore. It's that bad. But like doing these, yeah, they're great. They're an escape. It's a way to like connect with people, and we're all
commiserating together.
Shit, man. We're all in that tube trying to escape this prison together, man.
Joey says, I sometimes miss the downer Danny. He will return. He will never, ever, ever fully go away. When they restock the roster come September preseason, I'm going to be sitting there going, they didn't do shit. And we'll be right back.
What's funny about that comment by Joey is you're describing on every podcast how they have to blow this roster up, and we're so numb to the pain of what this season has been that's not even downer Danny anymore. No. That's just positive. That's positive, Danny.
It's affirmations, Danny.
It's affirmations, Danny. It's delightful, Danny.
Like it's just such a weird thing. And Taylor points out, or I'm sorry, it wasn't Taylor. It was somebody else. It scrolled past. Where'd it go? It was scrolling quick. Somebody else. I lost it. Oh, there it is. Randy.
What was the point?
Randy Powell says, Portland lost, Pelicans and Thunder win equals good Blazers night. Yeah.
That's true.
Listen, if you want to be a standings watcher, go for it, man. It's it could be a little taxing at times when you're like, God dang it, one whole game and like 4 teams change spots, and you're like, they just lost like 5 draft slots, and it's like, just really start watching it in like the final 2 weeks. That's the thing.
To tie the Shawshank example there together, when they lose that last game of the year that puts them in the 4th spot of the bottom of the league, we're all going to be Andy with our shirts off in the rain.
Oh yeah,
like
100%.
This is refreshing.
It's gonna be the bar gif, that everybody does the green screen over of the bar just losing their collective minds when that final horn hits. Blazers got a top 3 pick. That's when it's gonna be a ton of fun. So, we'll get out of here on that just because it's getting late and.
I'm just getting excited, man. I'm excited.
Isn't it weird, to be excited about not being good?
Well, but I was excited to read Casey's piece. I'm excited that Dame made this decision. I'm excited that Dame is taking the competitive on the court self away, and he's like, business smart, futuristic Dame. What do you think? And he's seeing this, and I'm excited that we're gonna have a top 3 pick that we're gonna trade to Washington for Bradley Beal.
Getting real spicy. I like it.
They suck.
How
many more years does he want to suck?
Yeah, you could suck less. So,
well,
yeah, couple things. Business side of things. Hud Dog Jamie Hudson will be on the show post game following the 23rd. The game on the 23rd. That's a Sunday afternoon. So it'll be an earlier tip. But yeah, we've got Hud Dog on the show. We got her locked in. Still trying to get Mr. Demers on the road on an off day. Same with Hodor. Casey Holdall, get him in here and have him talk about what it's been like to cover this team up close, as well as trying to get some folks for the watch parties. So I'm trying to get some opponents in there or just some media folks in there. I might try to get Jake or another newsbreaker type for one of the watch parties. It's a little bit easier then. Just kind of have them come in and come out. That way it's just a simpler process. That way you guys can actually ask your questions to them too. Thank you all so very much. We appreciate you. Love you. Just, it's been awesome. So help us continue to grow on our way to 2,500 and then 3,000. So it has been amazing. Thank you all. We appreciate you. You can follow us on social media at Jack Ramsays, at Danny Marang, at Brandon Sprague. Y'all the best. We'll catch you on Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
I had to tell you, it's every other day. What day is today? Let's figure it out. We will catch you guys on Saturday in Washington, and then we will hopefully have some news on some returning players, some guys clearing protocols for a pre- and post-game show. And until then, for Brandon, I'm Danny.